Good afternoon, Facebook friends. It's your girl, Angiera Marie. Most of you know me from Hot 914 Radio, but today you're watching COVID-19 and Company. It's conversations from the epicenter across the globe, and I am very excited. The guest that I have today, Mr. Keir Worthy, is going to be speaking with me a little bit about the fashion industry, and he's like a pioneer in the music industry with promotions and marketing of rap music from the beginning. So we're going to talk to him about how COVID-19 has affected the industry. And he has an event coming up. You know, it's New York Fashion Week time. Of course, I get excited about that being a plus model. So even when I'm quiet and you don't see me on runways, I'm peeking around to see what's going on. And, you know, I try to stay in the loop even with my travels. So today I am in an undisclosed location. I won't tell you. Mr. Worthy, Keir, good morning, or I should say good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for being with me today.
I appreciate you inviting me on.
Thank you. It's truly an honor. I wanted to talk to you about this industry event, talk, the New York Fashion Week talk, but then I saw your bio and I was just blown away, like, wow. Like, I'm so honored to be in your presence. You've done so much for the industry as the music industry. So I want to read your bio so everyone knows who you are, because we normally know, you know, the person that's on stage, but
Right.
we don't know the people backstage. We don't know the people that promoted them, the people that actually got them there. You know, people that are responsible for the success of so many people. And we appreciate people like you. I do a little singing myself too. So, you know, I'm like all around in the industry.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was reading your bio and I was like, wow, you know, I didn't know what a gem I had on my friends list on my Facebook. Mr. Keir Worthy, he's a New York-based entrepreneur and businessman and a former music executive at Def Jam's, Elektra Records, and Warner Brothers. Along with business partner Ward White V, he founded Hot Wax Promotion and Marketing while a student at the University of Texas at Austin. As a panel and showcase coordinator for the early years of the SXFW Music Festival in Austin. That's Austin, Texas. He created the urban music component of the festival. He is the current executive director for the Organization of Black Designers and is the chief creative officer for the boutique branding firm of Rhythm Alchemy Creative Consultants. Now, I want to continue. I'm not going to kind of go like word for word with the rest of the bio. We could do half the show just on Keir's bio. It's just phenomenal to me. But while he was a student, him and his partner, Ward, doing Hot Wax Promotions. You're still doing Hot Wax Promotions and Marketing, correct?
Yeah, it had periods of dormancy. It's we're back this year, past couple of years actually, and this is actually the 35th year anniversary of the company. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
we can't.
I wanted to congratulate you on that. But I just want to throw a little bit more information from your bio, talking about Hot Wax Promotions and Marketing. Mr. Worthy focused on focused his company on exposing the relatively new genre of music, as rap music was not yet mainstream for radio. And he was the only one, his company was the only one of his time to do so. So he's worked with artists and groups such as Public Enemy, Queen Latifah, Heavy D, LL Cool J, Sir Mix-a-Lot, De La Soul, Slick Rick. These are all people I grew up, you know, bopping to. So I just think that's really phenomenal. And I want to, you know, give credit where credit is due. I saw somewhere also that you had worked with even Anita Baker at some point in your career.
True.
So
Prince.
awesome to me. So I know I couldn't possibly do you justice because there's so much to know, but I want to ask you first to just tell us a little more about yourself and tell us a little bit about the organization of Black designers and how you transitioned into fashion industry from the music industry.
Oh, surely. Well, actually, it's kind of the reverse. I came up in the arts, drawing, painting. I did sculpture classes, things like that. I was always into photography, which I have been doing again over the last 5 years or so. Also shooting quite a bit of fashion and plus models.
Yay!
So I kind of went from fashion to, it kind of went from the arts, which included fashion. I was always very interested in fashion. I was a regular reader of um, GQ and Elle and Vogue and Mondo Uomo and L'Uomo Vogue from Italian Vogue, for the fashion and also for just the imagery. I was always into imagery and design, and my goal was to have an advertising agency. That's kind of what led me to creating the company Hot Wax, because I wanted to do advertising and so forth, and commercials for the entertainment industry, primarily music and film. So I said, well, I have this opportunity to do promotions in the music industry that will give me direct contacts in the music industry. So once I'm done and start my advertising agency, I'll have clients.
Right.
Well, one thing led to another, which led to just me being in the music industry for quite a long time. But I've always maintained an interest, and I've always utilized things I learned from the advertising realm, the marketing realm, into what I do on the music side of things, because they're kind of integrally intertwined.
True, they really are.
And I've always, in always having a hand in the arts, so to speak. The chairman of and creator of the Organization of Black Designers, his name is David Rice, and a shout out to David Rice to get well. He's actually infirmed at the moment, had a little incident, so get well. He started the organization. He was a longtime family friend. I met David through my mom, and David attended design school at the College for Creative Studies in Detroit, which is where I grew up. Okay. And he was an industrial designer by trade, and had the germ of the idea of forming this organization to bolster and expose Black designers, which ended up becoming OBD, the Organization of Black Designers. So it officially started around 1992. I was in New York by then. I was always involved with the organization in their activities. At one point, there were chapters in various cities across the country, and we still do a design event called Design Nation, which is an international multidiscipline design conference in scope. So I stayed with them, and I was always a participant. I was always the person who kind of interjected and helped with the conference, and producing panelists and so forth. So in 2010, basically, I came aboard officially as the executive director of the organization.
Okay, wow.
And it's gone from there. We've done our last two conferences were in Detroit and Cincinnati, and we've been involved in a number of interim events with other organizations. One of our big things is to partner with other organizations, especially Black organizations that are promoting Black talent.
Okay, wonderful.
So that's kind of how this event came about with Fashion Novation. Fashion Novation has been doing their thing in the fashion space for the last 2 or 3 years or so. And I reached out to the executive director there, the president, Jordana Grimades, about what they were doing. And she's like, well, what you all are doing is really great. And we were trying to increase our diversity component within our organization, within our events. I think it'd be a good fit. And I felt the same way. So that's how we became partners with Fashion Innovation on this particular event. And we're very excited about it, and very excited about the connection between the two organizations and doing more things going forward.
That's awesome, because we do need that diversity, and it's good to see the things that are going on, because like New York Fashion Week is a huge deal. So to have that kind of diversity there, and it's good. Like I'm an international traveler, and I love learning about culture, what people's lives like are in different countries. And I think it needs to go both ways. We need to have those open communications. So I was really excited to see that this is a global event, and it's called Worldwide Talks 2020, correct?
That is correct. This is their, I want to say, 4th event or so. They've been focusing their events primarily during Fashion Week, both fall and spring Fashion Week.
Okay.
This is our first time being involved with them. Also, just to interject, the organization of Black Designers, for a while, we're also doing our own monthly event called Fashion Fridays.
Okay.
Fashion Fridays Live, which was an extension of what we were doing online, which was every Friday we had online on Facebook, so forth. We had a big fashion, um, all our posts were fashion oriented. We
Mhm.
feature some on the fashion side, and of course, when you say design, to most people, the first thing they think of is fashion.
Of
Even though
course.
a number of other disciplines, people think fashion first, and
Exactly.
we are, as Black people, very connected to fashion. Have been very big in pushing fashion, whether it's been directly or people seeing our own personal style and weaving it into what they create.
Yes, because it just boils down to creativity in the end.
It does.
Between the music and actual art, physical art and fashion, it all falls together in my opinion. And knowing
Truly,
a
truly.
creative person, if you're creative in one area, you most likely have creativity in those other areas and can pivot between them. Yeah.
Well, we're a culture and a people with a lot of style and a lot of ingenuity, and
Yeah.
it shows no matter what position you're in. Whether you're wealthy, whether you're not. There's always some spark, some germ of flavor and style that we possess, and we show
Right.
to the world.
That's it. So let me ask you, I know there's been several the New York Fashion Week talks, but being due to COVID and us having the social distancing, what kind of things did you have to do different? Like what was mandatory to change in order to continue to move forward?
Of course, the biggest thing was to have to move a tangible 3D event and make it virtual.
Yeah.
Of course, the downside of that is that you don't have that direct face-to-face, hand-to-hand connection that you do. And there's something to be said about the visceral component of things of life, of being able to shake someone's hand, see them in person, and hear the voice and watch their movements. But I guess the upside of COVID and virtuality is that an event that may be a little bit more localized, it can be very international. People can tune in from all over the world. And
Yeah.
that's been the case with a lot of events that have been going on recently that, we may not be privy to, we may not have access to if it wasn't for this. And that information is still there and it's still vital.
Yes, and that's a good thing. I mean, I think so many people are stuck on the negatives about COVID-19, and we have to look for what's positive out of it. And that's one of the reasons that I started doing this show, because I really wanted to encourage people in a time
Hmm.
when we're hearing so much negative. It's hard to stay positive, but we have to see the good in
Sure.
everything. So I think people are upset about social distancing, but I'm happy that we have more global connections, you know?
That's very true.
So it's like how they say, if the world throws you lemon, make lemonade.
If you can truly. Well, you're right. I think a couple of things. I think that we as people are not prone to change. We change because we have to oftentimes, not because we readily embrace it and grasp it and push it forward. So the biggest part of this has been change and forcing people to change when they may not normally do it. Like I said, we have to be pushed into it. The other thing is that, we all utilize the internet, but I think we underutilize the communicative aspect of the internet. We have now the ability that we've never had to reach out globally, and we kind of just do it locally. Hey, I'm gonna get you on this. I'm gonna call you. We're gonna video conference, but it's with somebody who's you can see every day. Somebody down the hall, somebody around the corner.
Right.
This allows us to be. This allows us to take, like, remember pen pals back in the day.
Yes, I had
This
one in
allows us
Japan.
to, yeah, right. Well, this allows us to take the pen pal thing to like the hundredth power.
Yes.
You can, like you said, you can now communicate regularly with someone in Japan,
Yes.
someone in New Zealand, someone in Bermuda. It allows you to touch folks in real time in a way you couldn't previously. You'd have to wait on
Ex-
snail mail, and now you're able to, like you said, someone like yourself who likes traveling and being international, you can peek into the lives and existence and cultures of other people in other places very readily.
Exactly. And people can peek into my life over here where
Right. And dispel the myths that we have about each other.
it is nice, because you can read a letter and you can let your mind take you places to what the voice sounds like, even how somebody's saying something because you're reading it.
Exactly.
But it's different to actually hear the person's voice and be able to see them. And I think that technology has just went to a whole nother level, and people's use of technology, because we were forced to, you know, my family, they're not very good at being technologically savvy, but I've got them on a conference call now. It's like, okay, we're working on it. I'm trying to move them up to Zoom, but you know, we got conference calls, so I'm happy about that.
Right.
But it's because, you know, everything that happened, we couldn't see each other, so it was forced. So I think that's really a key point, that people that you mentioned, people don't really want to make changes, but we're forced in. And it's just having the patience and knowing that it's what we have to do. And you know, otherwise you're going to hide in a cave somewhere. And I'm not interested in going back to caveman days.
Yeah, I understand that. Why go from reaching the outer edges of space to going underground?
Yes, definitely. So I also wanted to ask you about Hot Wax Promotions. Are you all doing any promotional things right now? Or you have any events or anything going on?
We're working on some online events, but we definitely have some things going on promotionally. We're promoting a few projects. There's the underground rapper Boldy James. He has a project with brother named Sterling Tolls. So it's the Boldy James and Sterling Tolls project, which is called Manger on McNichols. It's a very, very incredibly unique project. It's hip hop at a different level. It's not the average. Now Boldy has two other albums out. He has an album with The Alchemist, people know it well, and he has an album with Griselda, rap crew out of northern New York, Syracuse area, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But this album it's a real project. It was put together over 8 years. So it's things that Boldy recorded directly with Sterling, and Sterling's actually the person that discovered Boldy James as a younger man. Came over to the house, and he said, "Hey, I see you over there mouthing lyrics. Get on the microphone." So they're more than just collaborators; they're like brothers. So it's a project Sterling has worked on for about 8 years, crafting the music around Boldy's vocals.
Okay.
It's really stunning. It's eclectic. It's like I said, got a real musicianship in it, not just beats. I think it's a Grammy-worthy project. So I'm really hoping people get to hear it.
Nice.
Working with a crew called Black Gold, which is a conglomeration of artists, sort of like the Avengers. They're all independent artists with their own talents and projects. So we're doing their various promotions. There's a cat, brother Garvey Rebel Rich, who has a great reggae rap project called New ID. Fantastic. So that's one of a few projects that we're working right now with Hot Wax.
Okay, awesome. So are you finding that there's difficulty about getting in the studio? Because studios are small spaces. We're trying to social distance at this time. Has that been an issue with the artist?
Well, these days, most talents have their own studios in-house. We don't create the way we used to create back in the day, where you go into a major studio, everybody's piled in. There's some of that going on. I can't comment on that because I have seen it. People are still trying to do that. But for the most part,
music.
for the most part, you can record your vocals or whatever in your studio. You can email it or send it to someone else and have them do their part. So, creating today is differently, and it's kind of component based. So it hasn't really stopped guys from making music. Definitely not. And, in a time like this, music has been a very, very motivating and uplifting and saving factor for a lot of people.
Right.
You see all these DJ sets online, you see people sharing music. Music has always had a power to it. Yeah. And, we kind of saw that in 9/11 because the world was really shaken by that whole situation. But I don't think music got its just desserts or its just due or usage as far as its unifying and healing aspects as it's being seen now with Corona.
Yes, and another thing that I think is we'll see more up and coming artists in the time of quarantine and lockdowns where people were stuck at home.
Yeah.
They may before have been busy just doing things and being on a grind.
Right.
It kind of pulled out some of those gifts and talents. So I think we're going to see a rising of new
Oh,
talent.
I agree. I think there's gonna be a huge explosion of the arts, of things created in the arts,
Yes.
by 2021. You're gonna see things finally start to come out. Because people, as you said, they've been sequestered, and if they weren't being creative before, they were kind of forced to be creative, or they use their creativity as an outlet for the angst and anxiety and fear, whatever that's been going on behind the disease.
Right.
But yeah, I know a lot of people who've been in creative mode for months now. I think there's going to be a vast amount of material out there soon. That's going to be probably, things that we've never seen, to the level we've never seen before.
Got you. And I read an article recently, right? And it was talking about COVID-19 and how it decimated the fashion industry. And I was thinking about that, like in the now, I think that's
Mhm.
true. And I don't think it'll ever go back to what it was previously. But I think that there's going to be a lot of new things taking place. And also for the fashion industry, because people are still able to work. So it's a little different in the fashion industry, in the music industry, what you're able to do. Like, what are your thoughts on that, though?
Well, first and foremost, I saw it. I saw it almost immediately when COVID hit, that this is probably not going to be a short-term thing, a short-lived thing.
Mhm.
And I knew what's happening then, what's happening now was going to happen, and that was the mask is now the new fashion accessory.
Right.
It is the fashion accessory right now.
Right. Well, you should be
And
stylish if you have to wear it.
right,
That's
and
my
you're
thought.
seeing a million and one variations on it now, and it's probably going to evolve
Yes.
as this thing continues to linger. So that's number one.
Right.
Number two, let's be honest, fashion is based around being seen,
Hmm.
and we're not in that sort of environment anymore. You're
Yes.
not going out, you're not at events like the way you used to be.
Right.
So the style quotient is that is going to has started to lean more casual, because you're indoors, you're in a home environment. I don't know. It's probably driving women crazy because they can't show off the fly shoes like
I
they
know.
normally do.
I'm like, I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to wear, and then I go, but I
Right,
keep throwing on like leggings or, and a t-shirt because I'm like, where am I really going? But that cute
exactly.
dress and those heels that I've been wanting to wear for like weeks, it's just sitting there. And I'm going, well, maybe I'll just have to wear it because every day is a special day because God woke us up. So I should just
Right.
celebrate and wear my clothes.
People are still vacillating between the two, and
Yeah.
they're still buying things, but
Hmm.
not the same level and same quantity they might normally. And thank goodness, I guess, for the internet, because people are still showcasing themselves and their style on Instagram and Facebook, and they're doing shoots anyway. They're like, hell, I got to get it out here.
Right.
But those things have definitely altered the fashion industry and how they're going about what they do, or going to be able to go about what they do.
Right.
A large part of buying that couture dress
Mhm.
is being someplace I can show off that couture dress.
That's it.
Well, those places have dwindled. There's
Right.
no huge event in Monaco. There's
No.
no Cannes Film Festival Grand Gala. All those sort of things. So it's definitely forcing a change. And
It's a Zoom gathering now.
yeah, right. And it's going to force different products.
Right.
I think since you brought up Zoom, let's look at what you're going to be able to see on Zoom. It's going to be hats. It's going to be glasses. It's going to be cool face masks. It's going to be above the waist, above the shoulder items by
That's
and
it.
large. And how do you deal with that? How do we deal with that as a society, as an industry?
Yeah, it's changing. So we
Well,
just
actually, it has changed. Also, think about it. Materials.
mhm.
Where the materials come from, who's manufactured. I think one of the things that Corona has shown, that America has to get back to manufacturing its own.
Mhm. We do. We
This used to
can't
be
depend on
the
imports.
Right. This used to be the center of the fashion industry.
Right.
Back in the day, we all remember seeing, if we weren't there, we saw it on TV, people pushing racks of clothing down the streets in New York, and, all these, these warehouses full of sewing machines and so forth. And we got away from that, being greedy, being cheap in some respects. When we farmed our work overseas,
Yes.
doing profit margins. Only now to find out, well, guess what happens when we can't get a hold of things? We got to make them ourselves. We're making one of the things we're making masks here
Right.
because we couldn't get them.
Yeah.
We're making gowns here again because we could not get them.
Yeah.
It just shows we probably never should have stopped doing those things.
True, because we had all the resources to do it anyway. So now, I mean, the promotion is buy Black and buy American. that's
Right.
promotions. Buy Black and buy American.
Very much so.
We need to keep
Very
our
much
money
so.
here in our country.
And in our own pockets, in our communities.
Yes, and make changes. I found something so strange lately as I've been going out, how everyone says, oh, we don't have change. So you have to pay exact change or you have to pay with a card.
Right.
This is creepy because when I'm in Abidjan in Ivory Coast, West Africa, this is the argument with my taxi driver because I don't have exact change and he's mad because he can't make change. So everywhere you go, you fight with people because you don't want to overpay them.
Right.
And you can't underpay them. But if you don't have exact change, they're angry and it's a whole argument. And then you run around in circles and you're wasting time trying to find somebody who can change your money because nobody has change. And I thought, oh, this is so crazy. And now it's happening here in America. And I'm just like, wow.
This is true. The change thing has been a strange advent. I'm like, how come people don't have change? Where did the change go?
Exactly. Maybe the same place with the money that they keep printing that there's no sign. I don't know.
Right? I mean, did Corona, make change disappear? Is that it? Is that the side effect of Corona?
Something. It's very strange to me though. So I mean, that's a whole nother show, another conversation about the economy and the recession and
without a doubt
what's to come. But I just thought that's strange because I've been out a little more lately. And it's like where I go, I'm in the airport and they're like I can't get my coffee because I don't have exact change and I'm not going to spend $1.29 on my card. I'm just not. Like, forget it.
Makes it tough. That definitely makes it tough. I haven't had a change issue. I've had change, fortunately. I guess because as I get it, I just kind of hold on to it. But I don't think about it consciously. Now that you bring it up, I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, hold on to your coins. No, you're going to need them. Plus, they'll be of more value when the system crashes. I go.
You see when it crashes, okay.
Yeah. Hold on to coins.
Are we predicting calamity over here?
Well, I'm not psychic or anything. I just think it would be wise. So we'll share that.
I understand.
Don't say I didn't say so, though.
All right, we have you on your Nostradamus tip right now.
Yeah, that's it. So I think just because we're talking about buying American and buying Black a little bit, I'm going to ask your opinion. Do you believe that the Black Lives Matter movement has had any impact on the way that things are going with the fashion industry now?
Yeah, well, like I said, a large part of this thing coming together was, them already feeling a need for diversity, but which I think increased 10 to 100-fold behind what's going on currently. Fashion Innovation, which was already open-minded to that, felt the need even more so to address diversity, to address Black talent in the industry, which is how our connection came together, probably in greater force than it might have normally. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. So what I also was thinking too, like your organization, tell us a little bit about the organization of Black designers and what exactly you do. I know that you promote different designers, Black designers, but tell me a little bit more about what you do and how they're collaborating.
Oh, okay. The organization was set up to promote the viability and necessity of Black designers. Also to increase Black designers' presence in the overall design space, foster collaborations with companies and other designers. So we've been at this over 20 years now. and we've put together a number of different things outside of just the conference. We've had great success at putting designers with other designers, young designers with veteran designers to bring them along. We've had straight ahead mentoring. We've brought along students. We have some fantastic success stories. One of our designers who came in as a student, as a design student in college, is now a lead designer at Ford. He helped do the Ford Taurus, the Flex. He just designed the new Lincoln Navigator, with the one with the gull-wing doors and the drop-down stairs. And
yeah, nice.
So yeah, we've some great design talent. People like Stevie Boy, who we met Steve as an emerging designer. Now his name is out there, and he's doing a bunch of things all over the globe. We brought Steve in to our last conference in Cincinnati. Still kind of in neophyte stages, even though he'd already started doing some things for like Gaga and a few other people. He had really solidified what is now a global base. So yeah, so we've done things with other organizations. We partnered with WakandaCon that happened out of Chicago.
Okay, nice.
Had to freeze this year, but we were part of their first, their very first WakandaCon, and also with them last year in their second one. We partnered with an organization out of Africa called PAID, which stood for the Pan African Interior Design Conference.
Okay.
So yeah, so we want to increase our networking, increase our partnerships, increase our global reach to designers everywhere. You got Black designers in all parts of the globe, places I didn't even expect.
Right.
You got Black designers in China, you got Black designers in Australia, in Singapore, and all over the place. They're just, and we're hoping to give them a haven, a home, a resource. I think that's been our biggest thing that David always mentions, that, people sometimes say, well, what does Black designers do? He said, well, the first thing is you had a place to call.
Yeah, that's it.
Whereas you didn't, you had a place to call to even ask that question.
Yes, that's it. So how do designers get involved with your organization? Is it like it's a membership thing, or how
It is a membership organization. We have shifted a bit from the traditional, sign up, pay membership. Right now it's a bit more invitational.
Okay.
We do have a kind of a screening process. We want to make sure that you are, if not a working designer, a truly dedicated to the craft designer. Not everybody is in the field just yet, but that's what you're dedicated to. That's what you're passionate about.
Okay.
So, we have a site. It's obd.org, O-R-G.
Okay.
You can also find us on Facebook, Org Black Designers, Organization of Black Designers. We have a group on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter.
Okay.
So there are a number of ways to reach us. And if you are old school and direct, which we are also, you can email us at info@obd.org, and you can also call the Organization of Black Designers at 202-489-4822. That's 202-489-4822, and someone will pick up.
Okay, that's wonderful to know. So for anyone that's watching that maybe you would like to get involved with this organization, I wanted you to have the information. It's important to promote one another, whatever it is that we do. And especially in the creative community, I think that people that are not creatives don't understand the creative mind. So we really have to come together as creatives and support one another in whatever projects that we're working on. And we want to see, each one needs to be successful. So if we support one another, we can all see success. So I'm really big on that one. So I want to ask you also, we'll give that information again about
Okay.
Before we leave, I want to get that information out again. And we'll also talk a little bit about the talks, the New York Fashion Week information. So anybody who's interested can participate in those events. I have registered for the talk for the World.
Oh, fantastic.
20. So I'm looking forward to it because I know it's an all-day event.
It is. And it was a lot of fantastic speakers. There's going to be a lot of great information with that event.
Great. Because I was looking like, wait, it starts in the morning and I think it's done at 8 o'clock at night. So I was like, wow, that's
8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Yes.
okay. Wow. Okay. So that'll be a great event. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me ask you I wanted to ask you about, we talked a little bit about the fashion industry, and you were saying that you think it'll come back in 2021. Um, do you think that there's now is going to be more virtual though?
Yes. Of course, none of us can predict where things are
True.
going to lie as far as how bad Corona is going to be. Will there be a vaccine, et cetera, et cetera? But the fashion industry is still in effect now. But
Yeah.
of course, there had to be major changes. There's a lot of a drop off as far as sales. So we've seen some companies go under. We've seen some situations collapse that we never thought. Something like a Lord and Taylor folding.
Right.
Uh, various companies are really taking a hit. But we also at the same time
Yes.
see smaller emerging situations. Small designers are having some success. You know, people who were selling already online,
Especially in the
their
creative
successes have been
community.
increasing.
Yes.
So it's definitely a changing of the guard situation in a lot of instances.
Right.
People are going to have to be doing business in a different way with different things. I don't
Gotcha.
think fashion's ever going to die or go anywhere because we are all fashion oriented to some degree. Whether it's you've got to dress,
Right.
and
We
and, and
have to do that.
everybody's got different tastes and styles and flavors, and you want to address those. It's just going to be how. I think it's going to start to be more individualized. I think it's going to be splintered a little bit more. Manufacturing is going to have to change the places it's being done, how it's being done, because no more close quarter manufacturing.
Right.
So, excuse me. So it's going to be different. It's
Yeah.
going to
So
be very, very different. I think people still haven't gotten a grasp on exactly how it's going to be different. So these conversations that we're having with this fashion innovation event are going to be important
right.
in figuring those things out.
True. Um, I was looking at some of the people, and I even from what you all are doing within the Worldwide Talks, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. So I thought that was really good, because they'll be able to reach all audiences.
Well,
But
I think for fashion innovation, that was important for them.
yeah.
Jordana and her partner are Brazilian, so they're coming to it with a different perspective, probably a little bit more worldly perspective. And
Yes.
like anybody, with the Black Lives Matter movement, the writing is on the wall.
Hmm.
We are not enough of the overall cadre of talent that's out there creating. And we've also seen it in smaller ways when you see these ridiculous faux pas in fashion, like the H&M ad about a year or two ago, that sort of thing. Those things don't happen if you have the people involved that can stop that from occurring ahead of time.
Yes.
If you have a diverse panel of talent within your organization, those sort of things don't get through the cracks, so to speak.
Yes.
There's somebody call them on, like, hey, you guys in a vacuum over here. We're not rocking like that out in the world.
That's it. Unity.
Yeah, yeah, and varied opinion,
Yes.
very varied perspectives that are needed, and
Very true.
it's not just singular and homogeneous and monolithic.
Hmm. It's
So
very true.
and that's something we've been battling for years. Whether people know it or not, whether they know of our existence or not, that's been the crux of what the organization has been about.
Hmm. That's it. So I think I want to just really encourage anyone who's watching, if you have any interest in the fashion industry, whether you're a designer, a model, a makeup artist, if you just have a creative mind and you're interested in fashion, I think that this event is really a great event, to get a lot of different perspectives. It's fashion innovation. NYC.
Fashion novation.
I'm sorry, Fashion Novation.
Hmm.
The website is fashionnovation.nyc. So you can go there and you can check out, they have a list of the speakers, so you can get an idea of some of the people that will be speaking. There's people from design school and designers. There's people within the media. There's so many, like I saw so many names that I was just like, wow, you know, you have your media people, everyone.
You got
taking
manufacturing, you
part
got
of
the
it,
supply side,
yes.
you
Some
have the actual design
supermodels,
side. Yeah, yeah.
yes. So it's beautiful to see all of that coming together. So I encourage you, it's a free event. Go on the website and just make sure you register so you can be a part of it. It's going to be on September the 10th. So that would be this Thursday, correct?
That is correct.
September
And
the
also,
10th.
it's a perfect time. I know it's tough. People are very anxious. People are very nervous about what's going on, but it's also a very good time to absorb knowledge. There's a
Yes,
lot of free knowledge coming around out there, and this is one of those
it's
type of
true.
events, where I think in normal circumstances, the average person would have never had access, or your desirous designer, your emerging designer, your aspirational designer would never have a chance to tap into this wealth of knowledge and talent that
Yes,
they'll be able to with this event. So,
yes.
got to take advantage of as you say, the upsides that are out there.
That's it. There's advantages.
Got to drink some of that lemonade.
That's it. Go for it. There's nothing wrong with learning. Even I saw recently, Harvard University had some classes that they were offering for free online.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a lot of good things that came out of the COVID pandemic, whether people choose to believe so or not. So we have to look at those positives. I think that right now, a lot of people are just at a place of frustration where they're tired of the mess. They're tired of social distancing. And it's a dangerous place to be, because we do still have to be mindful that there are many people that got sick and many people that died from this virus.
Oh, no question. I
But
unfortunately have
people
been,
are careless. People are getting
yeah.
a place of carelessness, restless.
I think two things, unfortunately, with us as Americans, I think we've been far too entitled in a sense. So, it's about, hey, you can't stop me from doing this. I can do what I want. I have rights, blah, blah, blah. But, your rights affect other people.
Exactly.
And so we're a bit entitled, we're a bit selfish, and we're a bit impatient.
True.
Patience is very much required for this time.
Yes.
We've got to say, okay, sit back, ease back. It can't be go, go, go just because everything we do affects the whole, and the whole, it's a great responsibility. I think the fact that we have irresponsible leadership at the time doesn't help either,
Right.
because I think that would quell some of the fears and get people a bit more in line, but we don't have that. So we kind of have to self-govern and be
True.
responsible with that. And, reach out to people, say, hey, you know what? You can't just be willy-nilly. You can't be wilding out.
That's
because
it.
it's going to affect more than you. It's going to affect your
That's
parents,
it.
your cousins, your siblings, your grandparents. I know you want to be in the club, but I mean, look at how important is the club.
Right.
What comes out of it?
What do you profit from that?
Yeah. What stake are you making in the world that's going to go forward? None. Right. None. So it's a time of probably, probably a big part of it is that it's a time of forced self-examination. People don't want to do that.
Right. It's true. And for me, it's a time to spend with God and grow personally in that personal relationship in the quiet time.
With that, also, like I said, that makes you look at you and makes you look at yourself and what you're doing or not doing. Mm-hmm. People are trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
So they want to avoid it with distractions and other activity. And,
but now's the time.
Yeah, this is very true. This is very true.
Now's really the time for that. So I've had to be out, and I'm particular about being out. And for a while I was like one of those people that lived in a cave. It's like peek out. Is it? But I've been out a lot more. But I just noticed, even restaurants, everybody's like, oh, well, it's safe to go to the restaurant. I mean, the food, the temperatures, you can't contract the virus that way. But it's the people. You go and it's like
right.
We all know we're supposed to wear the mask at this point now. you can't, there's not anywhere in the world that you live that you don't know that there's requirements for masks at this point. But
Yep.
people just don't want to do it.
Yeah, you really want to be able to count on your fellow man for a certain level of responsibility. It's tough.
Yes. And I see that
Very tough.
people, they don't. They just, I mean, they want to exercise freedom so much that they don't take personal responsibilities, and that affects everyone. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
careful about what I do, but the more I go out, I just see people are just kind of like, oh, well, it's just life the way like it is, but we're just going to keep doing our thing. And it's like, yeah, live your life as normal as possible, but take precautions. It's important to take precautions. So I encourage everyone to take precautions. Let me ask you, have you attended any events lately, like out, and done the social distancing thing? I know they've been.
I have not. I have not. I believe it or not, I haven't seen anything that compelling.
Gotcha.
Now, mind you, I applaud the people that have gone out and marched and protested in
Yes.
support of Black Lives Matters. I just could not be one of them.
I hear
You know,
you.
and I have supported in many ways. I've supported as much as I could via online situations, but I just can't take it. I also I am a person who has sickle cell,
Okay. Gotcha.
so you just don't really want to roll the dice just because.
Exactly. That's even a more of a reason to
Hmm.
stay protected as possible. Like
Exactly.
I showed up for a couple of marches, a couple. I
No,
don't like when I can't control the situation.
mhm.
So it's like, okay, I'm gonna stay over here and social distance, but then it got to be too many people.
Right.
Stopped at a barricade at one of the marches, so the police had us stopped. So now everyone's crowding in. That was my last march because I was like,
Right. They kind of crowding in your back. You're like, oh.
yeah, I love y'all, but people's too close to me right now, and everybody's breathing. And you're walking, so it's hot. You're taking
Hmm.
your mask. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's where I stopped.
Right. I mean, I have friends who have asthma, so forth. So it's a very difficult call. But you have to
Right.
make the call. Of course, that's best for you
Yes.
because you and your talents and your energy and resources are going to need to be around later. So if
Exactly.
you got to bow out of this thing, bow out.
Right. And I think about my loved ones more than myself. Like I'm one of those people, they call me crazy dumb because I do things that they go, did you think about that? And I'm like, no, I just had to do it. Now I'm thinking about it like, like walking with the lions in Senegal.
Okay.
But he's like, why are you walking in an area with lions? Like they could turn on you any minute,
Impulsive and fearless. Okay, I see you. I see you.
So I'm just one of those people. But when it comes to my loved ones, I'm more cautious because I think about them and I
Hmm.
want to be the cause of any demise of them. So,
Right.
like,
Right.
okay, no, I can't do this because that could affect them. And, we have to think about ourselves, but we have to think about others. And when we think about others, the world is better.
Yeah, there has to be some selflessness involved because
Yes.
we're unless we want to live on this planet alone, we got to realize we're not on this planet alone.
Right. That's it. So I want to be mindful of the time. I'm really enjoying this conversation, but I want to ask you about
Mhm.
words of advice that you would give people in the fashion industry, any of the designers, especially the Black designers, as your organization really focuses on that, uh,
Hmm.
on how to really pivot in our new normal, as we go forward.
Well, as we kind of alluded to earlier, it's a good time to learn, and learning your craft in any situation is always going to be the best thing.
Yes.
There's a lot of information out there. A lot of young folks, who want to go into design are online,
Hmm.
but I don't think they're tapping into and taking advantage of the information that's there.
Yes.
Your best designers are not only going to be talented, they're going to be knowledgeable.
Yes.
They're going to be knowledgeable of the event, of the craft. They're going to be knowledgeable of the area they want to go into, whether it's fashion or graphics or product design or industrial design or architecture, they're going to be knowledgeable of what goes on in that particular area of the industry or that
Yes.
area of industry. So it's a good time to understand those things. It's a good time to maybe join online organizations to increase your information knowledge. It's a good time to reach out to people for access to mentorship or just access to advice.
Right.
You know, people are a little bit more stationary than
Right.
they might have been previously. So yeah, people get it. One of the things I'm doing personally, even though I've been at this for years, I am reaching out to my contacts.
Yes.
I'm like, it's a good time to not only refresh the relationships, but it's probably a good time to actually connect with them and reach them because they're not moving as fast or moving at
Exactly.
all in some respects. So you want to do that, make those connections or make those reconnections. We're also very big an organization in recognizing that we have to bring on a whole sector of new designers. So younger people, it's important to get them interested in design.
Yes.
You know, as early as virtually elementary school. You
Right.
know, the way they do in foreign countries, or the way they do in foreign countries when it comes to sports or gymnastics. You know, taking it to the Olympics. We want to get these kids interested and know that it's a viable and valuable field. There's nothing that we utilize on a day-to-day basis that isn't designed by someone.
Yes. That's it.
Whether it's your hair comb, even the shoelaces to your sneakers,
Yeah.
someone designed it. The fork that you use to eat, the phone that I'm holding and that you're using, the
Right.
computer that you're on, somebody designed those items. Why can't it be one of us
Right.
designing the next gen of those items? So we're reaching out to students, high school students, college students. You know, that's one of the new initiatives to get to these people younger, to get to our
Yes.
people younger, and their parents, to let their parents know that, you know, this isn't a starving artist situation. You know, designers really do make money,
Right. There's
and
money to be made.
their talents are very essential to
Yes.
keeping society moving forward.
That's
You
it.
know,
I love
uh,
that. I love what you said because I think that many of us, we don't think about how many different avenues there are in design, that they are plentiful. There's so many areas of design.
mhm,
And my last few shows, I've been talking with this, about the schools and how the schools are affected with the reopening of schools. But
right.
last week's show, I actually spoke with some youth to just get their thoughts and ideas about what's going on. But I think what you said is really important for the youth to know, like, there's so many opportunities out here, but some
Mhm,
things we don't do because we're ignorant. We don't know. So
that's true.
if you've never been exposed to these things, you don't know, like design. The two things that design is like art and fashion. But
Right.
look how you're talking about the cell phones. Look how you're talking about designing the cars and, all of those things. It would never have crossed my mind. But now because you brought it up, I'm hoping somebody that's watching this broadcast, it may trigger something for them. It may
Hmm.
something out of them, especially for our youth, because they're our future, they're our tomorrow. So
No question.
they need to hear these type of things so that they know to even look into it. I had a friend from Africa. She was saying about Black Americans that are like being really ignorant and we don't know anything and we don't have this certain knowledge about things and we need to pick up books and read. And my argument to her was, I understand, don't call us stupid. You could call
Right.
any of us ignorant because we were not
Or
exposed to
unaware. Yeah.
things. We're just not aware. So it takes people that have knowledge of certain areas to step in and just say, hey, check this out. It may not be that you're even encouraging the person to do that thing, but because you grasped something and you've shared it with someone, you've now
Hmm.
their mind and their awareness that that opportunity is even there. Go forth in it.
And as you mentioned, fashion, you know, just from the realm of fashion, we'll just leave it to fashion.
Mhm.
Even within fashion, you know, and fashion's always sexy. You know, people
Mhm.
think, you know, fashion week, runways, glitz, glamours, you know,
Right.
cameras flashing. But even within the fashion realm, there are areas of design. You know,
Yes.
someone has to design the textiles that people use for the various garments.
Right.
Some people have to design the machinery that you use to manufacture some of this stuff. People have to design, the retail spaces that they carry these garments in.
Yes.
There's so many different areas of design just within fashion that aren't always the out front, in the camera on the runway parts of fashion.
Right.
But there are designers throughout in those areas to look at, just someone designing, like I said, glasses. Glasses may seem mundane, but someone's designing them and actually making quite a bit of money from designing glasses.
Exactly. Because you
So,
pay a pretty penny for designer glasses.
right. So there, like I said, there are elements within there that we don't readily think about or readily see, but it's still in the fashion industry. Mannequins. Someone's designing mannequins. Matter of fact, one of the people in the organization, that's what they do. They design the mannequins
Some more
that your clothes are
mannequins
hanging.
that look like me.
That's happening. That is happening.
Yes. We need some more shapely
and honestly,
mannequins.
right. And honestly, we need people of diverse backgrounds to address that.
Yes.
Because it's no longer the same old, will o' the wisp, super thin, elfy girl that's wearing clothing. Women are very involved and push the industry, and they want things that represent them.
That's it.
Fully, not just the waif. They want, hey, I'm a sister. I got curves. I got this. I want to see a mannequin look like me, so I can know that those clothes are going to work for me.
Exactly. That's it. So that's a beautiful thing. So I thank you for that information, because like it broadens my mind to go, well, let me look at some other opportunities. But you don't know you don't know what's out there unless you're exposed to it. And you can't possibly, especially in our world the way it was now, that things are slowed down a little more. People can learn a little bit of different things, but when you're running, you're just trying to work and you're trying to put food on your table,
right,
and you're trying to take care of your family. Like, you don't have that time, that free time to say, oh, well, let me just read about some random thing. No, if you're reading something, it's pertinent to what you need at that time in that moment. But that freedom, that when you make a lot of money and you can sit back and say, oh, I'm just chillaxing, and you read,
it helps.
it helps to have that free time. But we know realistically in America, that's not the normal lifestyle for most working Americans.
Right.
So yeah, we have to
So
do
this is where your
better.
passion comes in. If you're truly passionate and not just kind of fly by night about it, you're gonna try to dig in and delve into what your passion is and get that information to hopefully really make some forward strides in that arena. And unfortunately, it's there. I mean, it's so much more there than when I was coming up. I had to run to the library, had to dig through the gallows of the library to find stuff that I needed. Now I can just sit wherever I am. I can sit in my bedroom. I can sit in the park and just pull it up.
Yeah.
And it's a plethora of information that I would have died to have. Period. Let alone at my fingertips.
Yes, that's it. And the internet, we have so much right in front of us, right before our eyes, and I think we just have to create our new normal. Like, you might like something, and if you follow it, you have pros and cons, but you just got to see what you like. And I think that that's where we lack. Like, we've only been like, oh, if my father was a truck driver, then I should be a truck driver. If my mother was a nurse, I should be a nurse. And we don't even explore what else there is. So I encourage people to really explore. I think that God smiles upon that.
You made a point earlier that people don't understand the creative mind, the creative thinker, and one of the biggest highlights of our conference or any gatherings that we do is the ability for these Black designers to get together and know one another. Because, and I'm sure you know this as a creative person, no matter how cool you are with the people around you, your circle of friends, and they probably love you and think you're great, it's still different to meet someone who thinks and understands creativity the way you do.
Right.
It's a whole different level of connection.
Mm-hmm.
So to end up in a room full of other designers, it's amazing. You
Yes.
know, our conference at our conferences, people would stay up to 3, 4, 5 in the morning just talking because it's like, I never get to do this with people who understand me.
Right.
There's just whole circles of people. You look around the room, there's circles of people just la, 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 la. Because
Yes.
even at home, like I said, people that know them well, friends for years, love them, they don't grasp them on that same level as another creative.
Yes. So
So that's important. It's important to
yes.
have those contacts, to have those relationships, to bounce things off of, to share ideas with, to be understood.
Right. That's it. I think it's awesome. I'm so excited for what you're doing, um, because we need that. We need that support and that creativity, because it only drives you to have more creativity when you're surrounded by people who you can bounce those ideas off, that you can share with, and then you can build collaborations and all of those things. So that's really an awesome thing that you're doing. I want you to again share with us how people can get involved with your organization, the obd.com. Give the information again for
Yes,
who's
you
interested.
can check us on all social media under
Mhm.
Organization of Black Designers or Org Black Designers. So that would be Facebook, that'll be Instagram, that'll be Twitter. Our website is www.obd.org. So it's Organization Black Designers, obd.org. You can email us at info@obd.org. And you can also call directly at 202-489-4822. Once again, that's 202-489-4822.
Okay, thank you. And then the event, the Worldwide Talks 2020 for New York Fashion Week is September 10th.
Correct.
Please
From 8 a.m. to 8
let
p.m.
them know. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. How they can register for that. Please share that information again.
Yes, you can go to Fashion Novation.
Mhm.
That's FASHION NOVATION, fashionnovation.com, and find out. Plus, you can also Google it.
Mhm.
Fashion Novation, a worldwide talks, New York Fashion Week 2020. And of course, if you contact us through any of the OBD channels just gave you, we'll be happy to get you the information. But it's free registration. So come aboard, learn something,
Yes.
take your career to the next spot.
That's it. That's it. Beautiful. And I would be remiss to not mention, you did mention WakandaCon earlier,
Yes,
something that you were saying. And I just want to say, offer my condolences to Chadwick Boseman's family.
no
Um,
doubt.
that I would be remiss not to mention that. My thoughts and prayers are with them. Um, and we're going to get ready to get out of here. I want to encourage everyone, like I do each week at how I end my show. First, I want to say thank you to the Empowered Lifestyle Radio Show. They are on in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 9 a.m. They are on Facebook. They are also on WPCE, WBXB, and WP and WGPL. Those are the stations that they are on the Christian Broadcasting Network. I thank them for this platform. I really appreciate and love you guys for making COVID-19 and Company possible. A quick shout out to my makeup sponsor, Miss Gloria Wong. She provides makeup for me for the show. And shout out to my makeup artist today. My look is by Miss Yoshi S. That she hooked me up. I tried, but she's got much better skills than me. So I give a shout out to her, and also to my background. For my background in set design today, to Strickland Interiors, I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. Shout out to my girl, Shalonda B. She's doing Shay with a New Day. Check her out. She's on YouTube, so you can check out Shay. She's one of the plus models that I model with, also part of Hot 914 Radio. So I just want to share some love. Um, Last thing, as a word of encouragement as I go, I always share a Bible verse, and today I'm reading from 1 Thessalonians 5:11, and it reads, "Where therefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even also ye do." And I think us having these conversations is edifying one another. So I want to encourage everyone out there, get out there, support somebody else, see what they're doing, check on your friends and family, loved ones. This has been a difficult time through this pandemic. I also want to let you all know I'll be transitioning with the show. We're going to talk about some other things other than COVID related things. So watch out for the Angela Marie show, where we will go into different topics and have more variety. It's coming soon. Toodles for now from Angela Marie. Thank you so much again, Keir Worthy, for spending your time with us today.
Oh, it was an honor. It was an honor. I
I
appreciate
really
you
appreciate
having
it.
me aboard.
Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. I'll look forward to seeing you at the event on Thursday. So
Yes.
this is your
I
girl,
I hope you
Angela
get everything
Marie.
out of it you're supposed to get. I hope it's fantastic for you.
Thank you so much.
We'll have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about that plus modeling, getting back in front of the camera.
That's it. It's time. I'm ready.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You've been watching COVID-19 and Company, conversations from the epicenter across the globe. It's your girl, Angela Marie. Be encouraged, and we'll see you next week. We're on every Monday, 12 noon, right here on Facebook Live. Toodles.